Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Acrillus. Today we're going to be doing another casting of one of these Dream League Season 11 matches. The current match that we'll be casting today is going to be the match between Fnatic and NIP, otherwise known as Ninjas in Pyjamas. Um, as a basic overview of these two teams, not much is, I'd say both very good mid to top tier teams. I think pretty consistent showing in like big tournaments, very prominent organizations in Europe. So it should be a good match. I think we'll expect some good things. They do have a lot of more notorious players here today. PPD, Abed, uh, notorious as one of the better mid laners in the recent years, as well as Ice Ice Ice, the classic. We'll take a look at the draft as we go out into the first bands of the
5 seconds remaining.
of the first game.
Radiant team's turn to ban.
A lot of bands I will expect to see support. Chen's a big one. Split pushers are also a
Dire
really
team
big
ban.
element as well. Surprisingly, neither of those. The Pango comes out as a first ban for NIP. Probably, I would anticipate Fnatic have been using the Pangolier to a uh, to very moderate success or great success. I'd say they've been pretty successful with it overall, which is probably why they've prioritized that as the first ban. Surprisingly
10
enough,
seconds remaining.
a lot a a lot of teams have opted to ban Chen as the
5
first
seconds
pick if
remaining.
you're or as the first ban if you're second in the ban phase. Um,
Radiant team ban.
and there it is. Yeah, I mean, very
Dire
warranted
team's turn to
overall. If
ban.
you don't have first pick, then I mean Chen is one of the more priority picks right now, as is Leshrac. Both of those two heroes either getting banned or picked within the first rounds. Most of the games as of late. Um, so I mean, mostly just because the Chen has really good presence with the multiple jungle creeps. Also with the meta of a lot of mid laners
10
kind of
seconds remaining.
leaving the lane and going to farm jungle and kind of really only covering some waves at
5
tower.
seconds remaining.
Chen becomes a good rotation tool. Essentially, you can like micro
Radiant
and
team's
manage
turn to
both
ban.
the wave and kind of keep your support safe. But overall,
Dire team ban.
the extra regen from the from Chen's abilities now, as well as the additional buff in defensive stats, makes it a lot easier for Chen to support someone in lane. We'll see the Tusk ban come out as a response. I would believe that NIP have had a good degree of success with that, since that isn't one of the
Radiant
more
team's
common
turn to
bans
pick.
you'll see in the first phase. But NIP respond with the Viper ban, which is pretty obvious. Gonna lock that out from the mid laner Abed here. Followed
Dire
by
team's
a
turn to
Bat
pick.
Rider ban from Fnatic. It's pretty early on to target another offlaner here in the draft, but I guess it was the response that Fnatic had to take for that Leshrac and Viper ban, as Nature's Prophet is picked out by NIP. Very strong pick. I would have expected it to either have been banned or drafted in the first few rounds.
10 seconds remaining.
Mostly used right now, I believe, as a position 5 support. Makes
5 seconds
that global
remaining.
teleport, puts a lot of pressure. The Treants put a lot of pressure in the lane. Overall, really great tool to make sure that your carry survives that early laning phase. What else do we have? What else
Dire
are we gonna
team's turn to
expect?
pick.
Leshrac is out, so yep, Lifestealer, another popular pick. Not as popular in this patch. Last patch was proven to be a lot more games with Lifestealer in them specifically. But we do also see the Lifestealer ban in a good amount of games in this patch, so it is still relevant within the meta
10 seconds
and should
remaining.
treat it as such.
Radiant team's turn to pick.
One of the important things being that, yep, you're going to want a strong support to go with that life stealer because you want to either pursue kills or make sure that your life stealer has a generally safe lane so that he can rush that Midas into the Radiance, which has been the most popular build as of late. I wouldn't have expected it to change much ever since the newer patch where he hasn't been used as much or
10
hasn't been
seconds
the
remaining.
most popular pick, but we'll see.
5
I expect it to
seconds
be really good
remaining.
though. If he gets that Radiance, it'll allow him to power farm, clear out a lot of the split push from the
Radiant
Treants,
team ban.
as well as make it a little faster for
Phantom
him to
Assassin.
rotate and be a little ahead of the curve of Phantom Assassin, which is the next pick out for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Uh, Not to gloss over the Shadow Shaman pick, by the way. It's a great pick, strong pick, has split pushing potential, which is a high priority in a lot of professional teams nowadays. But the PA obviously going to be that safe lane carry for, I believe,
10 seconds
Fada,
remaining.
who's their position two. Uh,
Dire teams
your
turn to
power
ban.
spikes, I think you should probably, as a PA, if both lanes go well, you should be able to get Battle Fury a little bit ahead of the Lifestealer Radiance. Well, not a little bit ahead. The Lifestealer should get the Midas first, and then the PA should be able to get the Battle
Melee team
Fury,
ban.
and then that'll lead to the Lifestealer Radiance. So PA will probably have a little bit of a lead, a couple minutes into the mid game or early to mid game, but we'll see how both safe laners react to the conditions and see if they can get as much of a net worth on their opponent as they can. Bans out in the next wave. Darkseer for NIP and Razor for Fnatic. Fnatic really targeting that mid lane.
10 seconds
Uh,
remaining.
one of the only mid lane picks, I guess, one of the more optimal picks that would have been good
Five
to
seconds
fight against with
remaining.
Viper, I suppose. So they're keeping that out of the equation. The Darkseer ban is a pretty good offlane pick. Combos well together with pretty much any other any other team fighting hero that you can draft. So it really that along with the Ion Shell makes laning in the offlane a lot easier, and pretty much secures it so that you have at least a good amount of net worth to utilize when you uh, start to go for picks and stuff. You know, it's just overall a lot of utility with the surge together with the vacuum. And IP using their reserve time here. Looks like they're kind of deliberating on what next to ban. If I take a look here, you already have your position five and your position five and your position two. So you're looking for roaming supports or your off lane here usually.
Fire team
Mid
ban.
mid is I'd say position four and mid will probably be a little more prominent in the draft earlier on than the off lane. I've seen a lot of people kind of leave, or a lot of teams leave the off lane pick for last, kind of just as a way to uh, make sure that the offlane doesn't have a super catastrophic laning phase. Because if you have a weak offlane in this patch, ugh,
Ten
things take
seconds
off fast for
remaining.
the enemy carry. Basically the way the meta shaped is
5 seconds
you
remaining.
kind of make skirmishes, make plays around the map, but overall your kind of main focus is to make sure your carry gets his farming item or starts to get into the jungle to farm safely. And then from there you kind of just do what you need until he's ready. NIP's next ban out to be Timber, so it was that offlane targeted ban. So I may be wrong. We may see the offlane pick in this next wave of picks here. But Fnatic also taking advantage of the reserve time to take a second and think about and deliberate on their next ban. The double offlane ban means that NIP are really concerned about the offlaner here, who is going to be. Let's take a look. Our man Ice 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 in the offlane. Formidable opponent, a very long-standing veteran of the Dota 2 scene. Uh, I myself haven't really kept up to date with a lot of earlier Dota events, but Ice 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 is a name that no one really, no one really fails to mention when it comes to earlier Dota history. Slardar being the next ban out for Fnatic, as they also opt into picking the Doom. Bit of a sound bug there, my apologies. Yeah, solid offlaner, one of the more prominent offlaners available in the previous patch. Obviously, a pretty good lifestealer counter too, making it so that the lifestealer can't use his spell immunity, as well as take advantage of Infest to escape. So, a lot less options available if it
Ten
were used
seconds
against the
remaining.
lifestealer, but since it's been taken away, NIP are going to have to look for a better pick here.
5 seconds remaining.
Bane is open. Bane is open. Good position four. A decent position four, not the greatest, but you could also flex the Nature's Prophet to position four instead of position five, and that would give you the CC crowd control you need to manage that lifesteal a little better. Obviously, with the Doom and the Shadow Shaman both having good amounts of CC, crowd control again, but yeah, a lot more crowd control on Fnatic's comp currently more so than an IP's comp with the PA. You really only have Sprout as a means to hold people down, which is very potent against Lifestealer if he doesn't have a Quelling Blade, which will most likely be the case later in the
Dire
game, but
team's turn to pick.
we'll take a look and see. As the Ursa ban does come out for NIP, that obviously is going to go to the off lane. Can't have a mid and can't have a safe lane because PA is already safe lane and just doesn't work mid. Uh, but an aggressive pick in response to Fnatic's safe lane, kind of looking to. make Fnatic a little bit more worried about what they want
10
to pick
seconds
here.
remaining.
Maybe consider that they might want to swap the lanes out, make sure that the
5
lifestealer has
seconds
a little more
remaining.
of a secured farm, because Ursa is one of those offlane heroes that's going to put a lot of pressure on your
Radiant
safe lane.
team's turn to pick.
And your pick does come out, so you do now have that potential for that tri lane once that Doom starts to get settled into his lane. It shouldn't be really hard for Doom to survive that to survive against a Phantom Assassin. Um, it really doesn't matter what support you get in your safe lane against a Doom. The regen, I think, in the overall movement speed from the scorched
10
earth,
seconds remaining.
it really makes it too hard to catch him. So the Jakiro pick out
5
is most
seconds
likely going to
remaining.
be that position 4 pick. But in all likelihood, we're going to see it down in the safe lane together with the lifestealer if the pressure proves to be too much for I believe it's Abed. Yeah, the position 2 Abed. Could also possibly be Jabs who's taking that, but I'm not too sure how the Fnatic
Dire
team
team's turn to
dynamic
ban.
goes. Next pick out is going to be Lion. Didn't talk about the Slardar pick. We'll touch on that a little later, but the Lion pick out, another aggressive pick. Both supports that are here available, Nature's Prophet and Lion, are pretty decent in combination with Ursa. I would say the Lion's probably a lot better. Basically ensures that your target stays as close to the
10
Ursa as
seconds
possible
remaining.
for as long as possible.
Radiant team's turn to ban.
The ban next out for Fnatic going to be the Death Prophet, targeting the mid ban since it's obviously the last thing left, unless NIP decide to pull out a magic trick and to say it's Ursa mid or something like that. Lion mid is probably the most logical of these, but we'll see. The next ban out for NIP though is probably going to have to be for that mid lane too, yeah, as well. So the DP is taken out. Wouldn't mind seeing a
10
Pugna ban
seconds
here.
remaining.
Pugna very potent against Ursa, but not as potent against. Pretty
5
potent actually
seconds
against the
remaining.
support line, since you won't have the magic immunity to prevent the damage from the Nether Ward. Also great against PA. I would expect the ban to come out because Fnatic are probably going to pick that up if it is still open. Looks to be one of the better choices, I think, here. Other options including, let's say, Monkey King's on the table as a potential counter to weaker laning mids. Uh, who else is out in the open too? I believe OD is out. OD has been in a lot of ban phases in pro games recently, so we'll expect that as well. But obviously, it's going to be a mid lane pick. We'll deliberate a little bit on the starter ban as well. That specifically being another position
Radiant
for
team's
ban,
turn to pick.
which would combo very well with the Ursa off lane. Very much so. The Slithering Crush as well as the Sprint and the Bash, pretty much doing the same job as Line, except at a melee range. So it's mm, it's supplemented with a little more CC than Line. An extra stun to be exact with the Bash, but and the armor reduction with his ulti. But the range is probably going to be a little more useful
10 seconds remaining.
to NIP here, especially for Soxa, the position 4. As we see the Dazzle pick coming in last. Yep, the Pugna ban for NIP, realizing that that is a very strong pick against their composition, and the last pick, Dazzle, here. So, whew, the assignments are going to be a little weird here, I'd expect. What are we going to see here mid from Fnatic? If you assume it's a Dazzle, it's going to be a high pressure.
10
He's going to
seconds
poke out a good
remaining.
amount. So you want something that kind of survives the lane. I'd say
5
Alina's pretty good
seconds
here.
remaining.
You have the burst available. Uh, you could also offer something that's it needs to be able to handle Ursa and PA at a range, I think, and kind of set up for their main DPS was going to be that Doom and that Lifestealer on the front lines. So something to really manage the Ursa and the PA and keep them from getting for sticking on to Fnatic's members for as long as possible. But Fnatic really taking their time here. Can't really tell if that's because they're confused or if they're, just making sure that they're going with the right pick here. But we'll take a look and see how that shapes out. The Dazzle pick is obviously something that hasn't been very popular lately. A lot more mid lane picks have been geared towards power farming. As soon as you really just going for the experience in the first couple levels, just so you can get enough levels to have that farming ability that most of those popular mid laners have,
Puck.
like
Choose
Puck.
your hero.
Not as popular, but still pretty prominent as we see that full composition out. So it's going to be the Abed Puck mid with MP, I believe, which is Fnatic's position 1. Going to be on that Life Stealer. Shadow Shaman for DJ, Ice 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 obviously taking that Doom, and Jabs taking that Jakiro for the position 5, actually. So DJ going to be together with the Doom, making it a little different of a dynamic. But I think the slow from Jakiro and the CC will be a little bit better for the laning for the lifestealer, especially against an Ursa. The slows really help out against an Ursa. Looking at NIP's comp, we do have PPD on that position 5. Treant, Soxa going to be on that position 4 Lion, and it is actually going to be that mid lane. Dazzle with Fada being the one to take that, actually. Hold on, let's take a look. Fada is actually the position 2. Yeah, so he's going to be mid. Ace going to be that carry, as typical with that Phantom Assassin. How is this going to play out? Fnatic have a weaker carry? No. Both carries are equally weak in the early game. PA will have probably a faster power spike once he gets that Battle Fury. He'll be able to start collecting in on, waves, camps, stacks, and stuff a little bit faster than MP will, since MP will have to go for either that Radiance immediately or opt for the Midas into the Radiance, making your gold income a little more secure, but at a later power spike. But those are going to be the two guys to watch at the mid game. Early game, we're probably going to see a lot of action from both I'd say both supports on both teams. The pressure from the Jakiro is going to be great for trading against Ursa, but the Lion makes it so that there's definitely a threat of getting clawed to death here. But let's get straight into it though. As I mentioned earlier, the DreamLeague Season 11 match between Fnatic and NIP has just become underway. That is a terrible, terrible sentence. I'll try to rephrase that next time. But a typical start. Looks like we're gonna have Soxa together with the with 33 on that Ursa. Uh, do you have PPD sending those triads at the top lane to scout? Looks like they're gonna pressure here for a chance to get some damage in on the safe lane, but the Treants really not doing their job in establishing vision because 33 runs ahead of them. We do have 3 members here, Abed together with DJ and MP. Abed getting spotted out by that Treant. Jabs together with Ice, Ice, Ice in the bottom lane, looking to push into that bounty rune, see if they can press their advantage here since they know, in all likelihood, that that mid laner is probably not going to be there. Fada opting for that to probably going to get that double null talisman start at the end. Soxa doesn't have much. It looks like he's going to go for the bounty rune and try to get brown boots immediately after the bounty rune's claimed. But overall, we'll take a look at the game plan here. PPD getting a little aggressive over here at the bounty rune. Looks like both members of NIP are going to try to contest this bounty rune, but Jabs has managed to stealthily sneak past NIP's safe lane and manages to sneak that bounty rune out from under their noses. Meanwhile, NIP actually pressuring MP a good amount, all the way at a third of his original health total, with 33 actually catching up to him with the Earth Spike from Soxa. The Fury Swipes is actually probably going to kill him, right? You need 2 more hits. Yep. And he's down. Sox actually picking that up. Last auto attack collecting up on that. As Fada manages to TP a little bit late to the mid lane, but doesn't miss out on any experience or gold since Abed has decided to miss out on denying. But yeah, overall, pretty good. NIP actually got 3 runes there, so that's pretty advantageous to them. The only one they missed being the one that Jabs has claimed for himself. But overall, not too much excitement here. I am pretty anxious to see what happens here. Fada against a puck mid. I'm not sure. I don't think I'll trust Abed because he picked this into the Dazzle. It was a counter pick, or well, it was the pick. It was revealed to be Dazzle mid before Abed picked. So he should be confident in his puck play against this Dazzle. We'll see how how he opts to play this lane out, as MP, as per usual, taking that punishment. Decides to rage a little early, doesn't look for that Earth Spike animation unless he was canceling there, which threatens that rage to be popped. But once that rage is down, that is a good solid chunk of a window to get your damage in. 16 whole seconds at all levels. Can be pretty entertaining. Liquid Fire being casted onto those treants, try and reduce the amount of pressure they can do. You know, PPD being stifled a little bit here. Does have that Blightstone, but he did manage to get TP level 2, and is going to use that TP scroll to TP back to base, grab some items, sustain, get his health and mana back, and return to the lane. Let's think about the dynamic here. So, as I said earlier, both carriers are going to be at a pretty slow start, as is per usual with most of the games recently. Big thing here we're going to see is a lot of pressure from the supports here. Anxious to see how they coordinate with the mid laners, since Fada isn't necessarily going to be the same as most mid laners in the recent games. He's going to be a lot more aggressive, and instead of looking to farm at the jungle once he reaches a certain point, he's really going to be looking for that lane pressure. Since in most cases Abed's going to be the one to be able to get that out as a poison touch goes onto Abed. Doesn't manage to dodge in time, but it is what it is. But yeah, overall, it's going to be exciting to see how these supports interact. As I said, mid lane being one of the things I'm looking for the most. But once we advance past that point, we'll see who has the lead. From there, if Fnatic manage to generate a lead and have a good amount of farm, it's going to be those two components. You want to have a good solid net worth lead. Seemingly as I believe NIP 1k up as we find Jabs gets denied at the camp. Yeah, he gets denied at the side camp. I wasn't, yeah, I wasn't paying much attention to that. Probably should have taken a look to better luck as he TP's back out to lane. Looks like he was just getting pressured by PPD's treants as well as the camps and fails to manage the wave well enough. A little unfortunate there, but not much else we can say about it. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this plays out. Like I said, the two components here is going to be a lead on the early game using your supports, as well as securing that gold for your hard carry. Speaking of which, take a look at the last hits here. Ooh, not too good. Ace actually being 24 last hits onto, I believe, NP's 13 last hits. Not a good situation. She's also up on 5 denies as well on safe lane, which is also not good for them. Um, Mid lane, pretty even. Abed obviously going to have a slight advantage as Dazzle is relatively weak in life total. Makes it a little hard to pressure if you just cast Illusory Orb on him 5 times. But he does have that raindrop, so he is going to have a lot more better chances at trading in the next couple minutes. What else can we take a look at off lane here? Ursa, yeah, pretty much as expected. The Doom doesn't really have much denies, whereas the Ursa has enough denies to kind of equal out the CS, the last hits from the Doom. So relatively even overall. Take a look at net worth and the same's going to be relatively the same. Obviously Ace is going to have that advantage over MP, who is getting pressured a heck of a lot more than NIP's safe lane. It's a little strange, but that's the way it goes. But yeah, we'll take a look. Looks like Ace is getting the better of it though, and Ace actually does manage to get a good lead on MP. Then his power strike is going to be a lot sooner, as we do see 33 managing to cash in on that kill, but Jabs kill with 33, yeah, managed to pick up that kill. MP also managed to pick up the both bounty runes on top, so good amount of pressure here as he manages to channel his TP and does successfully escape. Only 2 auto attacks away from death. That's really close, but manages to get out of there a-okay. As we see pretty much, yep, Fnatic have transferred, yep, to that tri-lane that I was mentioning earlier. Once that Doom has pretty much established his presence in lane, he can last it without much worries, and they're going to now use that tri-lane to establish as much pressure as they can for their safe lane carry. Take a look at how things are going here. Yep, the PA matchup against the Doom solo isn't going to be a great time. Meanwhile, PPD actually moving towards the jungle instead of continuing his lane pressure. Looking to get as much gold as he can for the items he'll need. That'll make a lot more of a difference in that mid game. Actually, he's roaming out here. He's only level 3. Doesn't have any boots or wind lace, so he doesn't really have the movement speed to catch Abed by surprise. And since Abed does happen to have that illusory orb available, he should be able to get out of that situation pretty easily. Unless he waits for him to waste it. But PPD actually picks up a haster in the river. Decides to use it to pressure DJ over at the tier 1 tower top. Also manages to kind of pull the wave. Manages to pull one creep out. But blocks the pull from Fnatic, making it a little harder. A little couple hits on the courier there, but unfortunately no courier to be claimed. Pings out from DJ, signaling that PPD is in fact in that area of the jungle. As the TP is channeled towards the bottom lane, looks like there's going to be some action on the Ice here, who manages to overextend up onto the tower. He does have level 6, so he does have Doom available, but the Earth Spike does lock him down under tower. Fortunately, it doesn't look like Scorching Earth is going to be enough movement speed for him to get away, as, yep, the treant block from PPD is pretty immaculate. pretty solid as the pause comes out from 33. Looks like there was an issue. We'll take a look. Of course, I won't be able to know the specific details, but perhaps there's just something wrong with his keyboard or settings and the like. So he is good to go now, though. Uh, I am getting word from the studio. No, I'm not. I'm joking. My spidey sense is telling me that his mouse settings are off. That's so stupid. Yeah, 33. Yeah, living a little poorer life here, getting pressured a heck of a lot more since they noticed that the supports have rotated bottom. But obviously, he'll take the hit as long as it gives them the advantage. And IP, however, still at that 1k gold lead, so not much advancement on their lead as much as they'd like to. Take a look at the last hits here. MP is actually considerably falling behind Ace here, so Ace should have a good large lead onto MP and should have that Battle Fury farming item a heck of a lot sooner than Lifestealer will have his farming item. Another pause out from, or a pause out from Fnatic now. Looks like there might be some issues overall with the connection, perhaps. Not sure whether or not DreamLeague matches are cast in-house or online. But it looks like all those problems have been remedied now. DJ rotating over to the mid lane. Just kind of keeping up the pressure. Looks like since they have to, or since they've noticed that 33 is kind of by himself here, don't really need that double lane, and so the Jakiro in many cases will be as much as they need, as he actually puts up the open wounds on a 33 who now has that rage activated, but the damage from him is not good enough. You only have a claws of attack, and this man's taking like 20 damage from each auto. As we get out the shackles onto PPD, who seems to be in a bit of trouble, managed to get the Sprout on himself, but the Dream Coil is going to go out if he decides to challenge TP, or without having to waste LT, he could also use the Waiting Rift to silence him and prevent his channel. But an easy kill going to be picked up there. Not as important as the Doom the Doom kill was, but still a little bit of gold there to further their lead, or to kind of catch back up in the game here. Fnatic being that team, by the way. Surprising that they've left the supports. The supports have pretty much just left top lane. Yeah, as they've reestablished that tri lane here, but they don't know that DJ is here, so they might be able to take advantage of that information. Does manage to get that smoke popped out on him, and the open wounds isn't in range, even though he had the phase boots. Unfortunately, he has the phase boots. 33 has those phase boots together with that wind lace, so going to be a little faster than MP in that situation. A little bit of a weird thing going on. PPD actually pushing into the enemy jungle here to try to get some lust. It's maybe also perhaps looking for stacks, but he does manage to spot out DJ on the ward, and DJ doesn't seem to notice him yet. Interestingly enough, we do see Abed kind of just floating around the bottom side of the lane, making sure that making sure that his side of the jungle is relatively safe. But he does also get spotted out on this ward here, so NIP should know that Abed is bottom, but he does manage to find out, yep, the stack. Should be able to take it relatively easily with the Waiting Rift, together with that Illusory Orb. Doesn't want to waste the mana. Scan out from Fnatic as they notice PPD up into the jungle, using streams to split push, but the Earth Spike out from Soxa onto DJ. Looks like DJ's going to get killed here as the Poison Touch makes him slow enough and melts his armor down. A lot of pressure being put on the mid lane here from NIP. Pretty sudden, but Abed here to try and recover it. Not much he can do here. Jab's also returning as well with the dual breath. Oh, pressure out on the Abed. He gets poison touched and earth spiked, but nothing else happening. PPD manages to TP out. Looks like the side laners are not really doing too much else. Ace will be returning to the jungle. Doesn't look like he has his Demon Edge yet, but yeah, I mean with the pressure on the mid tower, Ice did manage to get enough pressure to push down the bottom tier 1 first, so it's advantage over to Fnatic for that play. But eventually that mid tower will get pressure enough by the Nature's Prophet to go down due to the treants. Poison Touch actually going to Abed, as he does also get sprouted. The Minus Armor making it really easy for them to collect up on that kill. And yep, both get the tower and the kill. A little misstep there by Jabs. Unfortunate that he's caught in that scenario, and it really does push an IP's lead another 1k further. Taking a look at net worth here, yep, the mid laner, the Dazzle here, really getting ahead of the puck here with the assists on those kills. Apologies if I don't know all their names yet. These guys have so many names. Want to call him PPD, his name's Peter Pan Dam. Want to call him 33, but we also has that, and there's only a W in front of the 33 instead. Gank out onto MP here though. PPD managed to TP in, also get those treants out, but looks like he was mainly just using that for tower pressure, keeping that catapult alive so that he can get as much damage in on that tower as possible. Blur out from Ace, and he does manage to notice jabs here on the side of the lane. PPD channeling his ultimate, the Nature's Wrath, going to be able to hit up jabs as he is unaware of the death that awaits him on that top lane. NIP easily picking up that kill again. The net worth gap actually shortening a little, going down to 1k again for NIP. Take a look at the exact net worth perhaps here. Yeah, slight dip actually. So, NIP managed to, yeah, collect on that tier 1 tower. Looks like they're accelerating the schedule a little bit since Ace does have level 6 and a demon edge. So he won't be delving into the jungle yet, but good time to check up also on MP, see where he's at. Should be you. Nope, should be you. There you go. Only has his Gloves of Haste and is actually opting for the Armlet instead of the Midas, so does look like he wants those stats more importantly to fight than he does want to stay in the jungle, which is pretty obvious here. NIP do have the advantage on their pressure, are taking a lot of camps away from him, and widening that net worth gap a whole heck of a lot more. So Ace has taken the hit, taking a reduction in the amount of farm that he's able to collect on. Oh, Soxen 33 actually smoked up here. Do manage to spot DJ out on the ramp and aren't going to fall off on it as they're looking for Ice, who is in a bit of trouble here. Managed to activate Scorch Earth, but the Earth Spike comes out together with the Rage, increasing the damage of this Fury swipes. The treants are here along with the TP from PPD, but it's more than enough to finish off Ice relatively easily. Not much else being gained from here, but Ice does also have his minus, so not too detrimental for him to die at that point for his own net worth, but the gold lead grown back to 2k for NIP here. Jasmine is in TP out safely. Soxley here together with Ace now. Looks like PPD together with 33 are going to pressure this bottom tower here. We do see a TP out from Abed, who is using an Invis rune. DJ actually coming up on the flank here, looking for 33, who actually used his Rage last fight, so won't have it for another 8 seconds. Is actually still stuck in that Dream Close. Does 5 seconds on a Rage and won't be able to have it in time as 4 members of Fnatic do collapse onto him and collect on that 3 times killing streak. Chunks their net worth down actually a good amount too. Let's take a look. Yep. Back down to almost below 2,000. What are we looking at for items here? Obviously the Necronomicon out for the mid lane, Dazzle, Fada. Pretty simple. You want that short cooldown for your active item. Well, the cooldown reduction from Bad Juju, Dazzle's ultimate basically enables you to have really low cooldown on a lot of active items, making them a hell of a lot more potent in terms of both their utility and their pushing power in this case. 33 actually smokes up, does have his Vlads now too, so he will be able to challenge that Roshan. Let's take a look at PPD's items. Does manage to pick up that urn. They do scan the pit from Fnatic, so they do know that he's in there. Abed managed to use his Illusory Orb to spot him out. But we do know that if 33 didn't use his Rage last time, then he should have it now, so he will be able to get out of there safely before Fnatic managed to close in on him. MP still on that armlet. Nobody. He's 100 gold off from his armlets, that's good, but Ace is pretty close to collecting the rest of his Battle Fury here, about 200 gold off, so pretty similar on their first item spikes, but that PA Battle Fury, oh, an Earth Spike out on Ice, who tries to collect up on the bottom bounty run. As we see, kill out on PPD on the bottom lane, but the finger does come out on Ice, securing that kill. Top lane, actually, a lot more action happening here. Ace in a lot of trouble as the Liquid Fire is channeled along with the Macro Pyre. The Enrage coming out for 33 as he tries to finish off jabs. The Air Spike does manage to hit 2 people though as, oh my god, Obvious take a lot of damage for the street swipes, but the Rage out from NP to prevent additional CC. Does manage to get that blasted out on the 33 as Fada comes in to collect on another kill. The Infest actually gonna be used for damage actually to try to pick up on Soxa. Abed, pretty low on mana, only has enough for the phase shift, but the open wound's gonna slow down Soxa enough. The life, or the the shallow grave is gonna prevent him from dying for a little bit, but it's not enough to save him, fortunately, since he does not have a TP. Abed actually making it safe out there, and a pretty good fight for Fnatic, pretty much catching up on all the net worth they have. Abed being the one with the most. Really using that Veil to go with his abilities, his high base damage abilities to his advantage in this early game. We should be transitioning that mid game though, yeah. A lot more of people just kind of free flow moving around the map to
Radiant's
pick up
middle
farm
tower is under attack.
and maintain pressure. So DJ's pushing out for a little vision. Place that sentry ward that actually did spot this observer here, but I believe they didn't have time to remove it earlier. Pings out onto the jungle. Looks like they might have Fnatic rotate into the bottom lane. They are going to manage to find that ward, but NIP are also noticing the rest of the team here collapsing. PPD trying to channel his teleporting that, but that is a certain death for you, sir, if you do manage to follow up on that. Abed, pick up on the side of the tower, managing to proc his Veil, misses the illusory orb, so won't be able to pick up the kill on Soxa. Soxa trying to get an Earth Spike in as he sneaks away, but not much else to do. The puck should have his Blink Dagger as soon as the courier manages to pick it up. They do have Fnatic's courier actually in the pit right now, just keeping an eye on Roshan, making sure that 33 actually isn't doing it. A really intelligent play by them using that courier, and that courier actually does spot out that Roshan is being taken. That's crazy. Yeah, they do have that vision. It's crazy. Abed, everyone at Fnatic know. Smokes up from Jabs and DJ to kind of move in here. They do have Ice teleporting to the shrine as well, noticing they have all the knowledge they need. They know the exact HP of Roshan. They know that 33 is in the pit because of Flare. So Macropie actually into the pit together with the Ice Path. Doesn't manage to hit anyone. The Shadow Ward's actually out on a PPD. He gets instantly trapped and then Sox actually getting the open ones. Also haven't managed to have the Shallow Grave on him, but he will die shortly here due to MP and Ice is collapsing on that. Fada in a slightly awkward position here as DJ manages to isolate and pick up PPD, and Ice and MP isolate and pick up Sox. A little bit of a miscommunication there on NIP's part. Wasn't really positioned well for that play. I mean, at that point, you really should have known if you know if they were coming, they would have come at that time, and you should have been better positioned for it. Double damage out in the river here. Both teams managing to spot it, but MP does have his supports here first. Is going to be able to claim that before the enemy team collapses onto him. Take a look at what's going on. PPD really power farming as much as he can. He's looking for as many items as he can. His pings out go onto mid. Fnatic looks like they might be posturing for this mid push, but decide to opt for a rotation to the bottom lane instead, actually. Looking for a really unique shift in the rotation. Looks like Ice is just going to go bottom and pressure it while the rest of Fnatic kind of look for additional farm. MP obviously pursuing that Radiance is actually at 2600 gold, so should be at that in the next 5 minutes or so. Yeah, I'd say 3 or 4 minutes. Ow, Aetherlens actually out on DJ, so he's doing pretty well for himself too. The worst being Jabs, of course, right now, who only has his Tranquil Boots, but what can you do? As a captain, you are still very much influential in this game, no matter what the net worth charts tell you. But Blink Dagger out from Abed should be able to make a little bit more of a mobility plays as Jabs actually does get picked off by that global presence from the teleport from PPD. Ace is there to also collect on that gold as well, and he does have his Battle Fury, as was mentioned earlier. Does have it at about the right time. Drums out from Ice to help with the team fighting. 33 after the Vlads looks for drums for the enhanced movement speed, opting for that instead of the blink. Looks like he's afraid of that radiance from the Lifestealer eventually going to be too detrimental to have a blinker. Yeah. A little bit of a better execution here on NIP. They already have the Roshan a little low. Abed does have the illusory orb, so you will be able to spot out that Roshan. Open wounds out actually onto Fada. Looks like he's been pressured a good amount. See, enrages pop by 33. Tries to successfully clutch out the Roshan. Does manage to get hexed out from onto Abed, who is in a bit of trouble, but Ice manages to doom Soxa and get that pick out on him. There's nothing much else is going on. Fada continuously being pressured by both DJ and MP at his tower. The snake ward's being activated on, but the Shallow Grave prevents him from dying. The finger out onto DJ, and he is going to get picked up as well. Oh my god. Fada doesn't even die at the tower. Oh man, as Ace picks up another kill on the Jabs, who does, I believe, buy back earlier. Did manage to buy back earlier. The Infest not going to be enough for... Oh my god. The snake, the Serpent Ward stopped the wave so that MP couldn't like just have his minion automatically walk back towards his base. Like, that's so unfortunate. But yeah, NIP get the way big better of that fight. Securing the Aegis as well as securing a good couple of kills. Doom being used on the Soxa, which, I mean, he did also buy back, so that forces the buyback out from him. But a really unfortunate scenario there for Fnatic. really could have looked for a little bit of better execution. I would have recommended the Doom on the Ace, but Ace also did hide himself pretty well before the fight started. Keeping out coming from Fada in order to defend this tower, mid tower. Abed being too slippery to really get caught by anyone in general. But yeah, PPD does have that armor, so he's looking to support and supplement his team's damage as much as possible, specifically for those carries, as PA picks up a Deso over the BKB initially, so I guess he's just looking for as much damage output as he can, which is reasonable. I mean, he hasn't been really focused in any of these fights. A lot of pings going down onto the map here from Fnatic. The Ice Path actually managing to catch up PPD, who was on that ward spot trying to collect on some farm and vision, but Fnatic already have the wards up there and are able to spot him out, collecting an easy kill. Looks like they actually just put those words up there, so a bit of an unfortunate scenario, but not too detrimental, as NIP have that 3k lead up on Fnatic here. Not looking too good for Fnatic, but I mean, it could be a lot worse, you know. You could be liquid 20k 20k gold down at like 26 minutes, I believe. But it is not looking great. MP should have his Radiance relatively soon. Does have enough gold for the relic, so he should be able to collect on that. But the Radiance is still 1,000 gold off. Yeah, and that's really hurting him now. He's now, I believe, almost 3,000 gold behind on Ace here, who has picked up his Battle Fury a good amount of time ago, so and has been taking advantage of that, managing to get the Deso, as we mentioned earlier. See Soxa, yep, since his buyback hasn't been really able to claim anything else other than an Aether Lens. Ice Path out, actually going on a PPD, who does manage to get picked off again. A little greedy here, but he's continuously looking to go for vision or, I guess, deny camps, but it is a bit of an ambitious play there, which I guess is a trademark of a great player. Always want to go for something a little risky, just to push your limits as much as you can, but seemingly, I wouldn't try that after the second time, especially in a pro game. 33 position to kind of jump on Abed here, but Abed has that illusory orb, should escape relatively easy. Does manage to spot out the Necro minions, but doesn't spot out Fada, so he isn't exactly sure where his location is. But he is warning Ice 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 just in case something does happen on that bottom lane. Excuse me. S33 actually at the shrine here, looking for an enemy as DJ comes out there, but he does actually have his Blink Dagger. A good amount of gold on DJ actually. More so than PPD, who has been power farming, but has lost a good chunk of gold that he's had, that he gained from power farming to those last two deaths. Yeah, I mean, Fnatic are really just like slowing down the game as much as they can, trying to collect them and use as much of those power farming abilities as they have. A really quick reaction by Ovid blinking out instantly, but NIP are smoked up, looking to take this game a little faster. The smoke is popped out from Abed, and they do manage to spot him. The Dream Call out actually onto 33 to prevent him from following any further, but he is in a little bit of trouble here. Doesn't get stunned out by the Dream Coil, but the rest of NIP are there to collapse on the tower rather than Abed himself. Getting as best of a situation as he can as Ice 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 continues to pressure that bottom lane all the way up to the tier 3 tower, really not stopping in the push. He knows, you know, if you guys have to overcommit for this, then my team's going to be able to take advantage of you on another side of the map. So, and Doom is probably be one of the hardest people to kill on a split push with their current lineup here. Not too hard since they've obviously done it a good number of times, but it's going to get gradually harder and harder, especially since now that Ice 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 has picked up a Blink Dagger as well. Oh, MP, your team is going, man. Where are you? He does have the same amount of gold. Actually, yeah, does have his Radiance up too, and Infest into Abed as Fnatic smoke up. Looks like with that Radiance, they are ready to pull the trigger now. Does manage to deactivate his Radiance before he infests. Oh, the scan out on his Soxa manages to find him here. The blink into that with the Infest is going to secure that quick kill, as well as that bounty rune. But fortunately, Soxa already has picked up their bounty rune on the opposite side of the river. Pings out from Ice Ice Ice, indicating that they might want to rotate over to the opposite side of the map, or that he might join them on the opposite side of the map. Can't be too sure with that, with that simple line, but we can take a guess, an educated guess, what they call a hypothesis in high school, middle school, elementary school. A lot of concentration of NIPs team members here. As the Doom goes out on a Fada, blink down instantly. Dream Coil on a 2. Ace is also in this mix here, so as well, so it might be very threatening. But he does have his BKB, so we'll be able to prevent a lot of that CC coming out there. His BKB is get activated. Fnatic realized this, and they managed to immediately channel TP. But Ice is going to kill immediately. Jabs chances TP out. GJ getting the hex up, but instantly gets one shot by Ace. Oh my God, what a hit! He didn't stand a chance. Oh man. But yeah, advantage to Fnatic there. Ice being a little too hasty on that trigger. Could have claimed a better gem out onto Ace instead. But unfortunately, that's the way things go. Surprised that Ace also didn't channel his, or didn't activate his BKB before that gem was activated. I guess from the way things looked, he wasn't sure that'd be them or not. Abed does not have Dream Coil here, but he does manage to get MP to the middle of the fight with that Infest and the Rage being channeled, but the pressure from 33 and Ace with all that armor reduction is just too much for MP, who's almost about to go down, doesn't have that Infest to save him again, and that long-range Finger of Socks manages to pick up the kill. The 33 is in trouble, doesn't have his Aegis, but he does have Flat, so he does have that lifesteal again. Ace is in as well, managing to pressure Ice a great deal. As Abed trying to get in on the backline and claim the kill on the Ursa, but the Serpent Wards are out onto Ace, who really doesn't have much else left to go on. Blake strikes into the rest of his team, but it gets immediately Dream Coiled by Abed. Really good play from Abed here, managing to locate him down. Ice is trying to sacrifice his life for additional kills, manages to pick up Soxa and Fada on their way out as PPD and 33 escape with their lives. Fortunately, PPD getting a quick tower on the way up, but overall, relative disaster for NIP. Not really what they wanted here, and kind of just a display of too much confidence, I think, in that in that play. A little overzealous with what came out there. Obviously, a lot of members of Fnatic were really close to dying, but you were very kind of. There was a lot of disorientation in that play. Abed was in the back line, disrupting a lot of them. And the Dream Coil out at the end really picked up on all those kills there. Abed really being the clincher for Fnatic here. Just really putting out a lot of damage despite the BKB being out onto Fada's PA. Yeah, I'm excited to see what he'll transfer to. Possibility that he might transfer out to the right-click build once he gets that level 25 talent. But he is initially instead opted for that Dagon. The additional damage is going to be a lot more helpful in bursting down targets before they can activate their immunity items, specifically that Phantom Assassin. But other than that, it's also going to be able to help him collect easy kills on those supports, pretty much just enabling him to pseudo solo kill a lot of times. I'm not sure exactly how much damage Puck has as of late, but together that Dagon should be a good healthy chunk, especially off of someone like Sox or PPD. But in turn, this may also make Abed a little more confident in his play, which will make him a little more susceptible to the coordination of NIP and the CC they have to lock him down. You know, one wrong blink or one wrong illusory, as you saw earlier, is very dangerous. But yeah, Fnatic really stabilizing here with that play, the turn around that tower. Jabs managing to pick up a new item, a Force Staff here, as Ice decides to flex on him and show him his Shiva's Guard that he's attained recently. NIP actually pushing up here with our carries, looking for a little bit of action as Jabs gets the Stifling Dagger thrown him, immediately Force Staffs away because he saw his buddy DJ. The Courier trick unable to work again, as they actually do manage to claim that Courier, crippling Fnatic a little bit, but still a creative play. NIP have managed to figure it out though now, so not going to be able to work a second time. So they're going to have to work for that Roshan vision, Fnatic. As they do manage to group up here, looking for a smoke out onto the team. Does look like the Infest play is probably going to happen again together with Abed. Yep, they're looking for a grouping. But NIP are also smoked up, so this is going to be a pretty exciting fight here if they manage to find someone. The smoke actually being popped in the river middle on Ice, so they know that someone is here. But PPD has managed to rotate successfully away after seeing that. Unfortunately not Fnatic being unable to pull the trigger out on PPD. Kind of hesitant, considering they don't have any other members of NAP visible on the map right now. But they do manage to spot them out, picking up that top shrine. Since the mid towers, 2-3 towers fallen. A trade of bounty runes there, as Jabs managed to pick it up and TP away safely. Pings out from Fnatic that are looking to position again around the Roche pit as their spidey senses are tingling, but unfortunately they aren't going to be there again in time as the bottom tower gets pressured by PPD. A good macro play, very good split push play, putting that pressure on bottom, forcing someone to attend to that. NIP really kind of just running Fnatic around in circles for the last minute or so in order to claim the Roshan. But the Roshan does successfully go the way of NIP. Goes on to Ace instead of 33. So since 33 doesn't have that initial blink dagger, he won't have that instant engage and won't be the major frontliner. Instead, Ace, who has that BKB and the instant blink strike, along with the devastating large crit, should be able to pick up on a kill relatively easy. Does have that blur up, so he will be able to spot out anyone, but it is going to expire now. Unsuccessful in managing to find a pick or start a fight against their composition. MP probably wants to hit the base before he gets into a fight. You want your full life total for this fight. You don't want to get randomly PA crit and instantly taken out, you know? Yeah, a strong posturing from NIP on this top lane here. Really just looking to push waves in, see what kind of rotations they're going to expect out from Fnatic here. A delay on the push of the treants to kind of make it so that they survive, or so that they dodge the AoE, but the macro pyre being activated here at the tower in order to prevent as much damage out as possible. But those catapults are going to take a little less damage due to their high magic resistance. Pings out onto Ace, who does still have his blur up, but did blink strike and kill that creep wave, so they know that he's there. Fnatic doing their best to stall this game out, really keeping that net worth lead as minimal as possible with these plays that they've been pushing out. But I mean, as the game goes on, NIP's carries are also picking it up too, and you have one carry or one solid physical DPS as opposed to NIP's two main sources of DPS, which are going to be a lot harder for your lifestealer to 2v1 those people, especially as they start to get and build up on more items. We're going to have to hope for a good doom out here from Ice Ice Ice, who does manage to spot out Ace on the ward, but he does have a haste, so he won't be able to capitalize on him with that doom. Doesn't get spotted out, so he should know that there's no vision here in the jungle, and NIP have to play a little carefully here. Ooh, kind of a dangerous game they're playing with the rest of their team, Fada and Saksa, being those two individuals, not being able to retain time. The blink out onto Saksa, who manages to make the mistake in the rotation. A long-range shallow grave, as Abed manages to jump out of Fada together with the rest of Fnatic, with the finger out onto DJ. He's going to be the sacrifice as they manage to pick up Saksa. The BKB out onto from the Ursa. 33 going to be in a little bit of trouble, but the Shrine is activated in a time. He does also still have Enrage as soon as that ends, but if he gets killed before that, then it should be disastrous. An instant kill out on the Jabs, who is destroyed instantly. Ace is also in trouble with the open wounds, uses his BKP to try and get out. Blink strike onto PPD, but PPD is going to be able to do nothing as Ace really does his best to get away while that BKB is active. But now it's not active. The Shiva's guard together with the Infernal Blade will pick him off. Oh, this does actually still have Aegis. So we might see a fantastic escape, or we might see someone get hexed instantly and die. A bold attempt, and IP really getting caught off guard there. Looking a little less clean than than earlier, guys. PPD is kind of PPD's plays might have inspired you in the wrong way. The man himself still putting pressure on that top tower. Does have a spirit vessel now and a medallion of courage. A lot slower in that gold build up than he was earlier as Fnatic continue to pressure that tower. Abed still looking for PPD. Doesn't manage to hit that waning rift and therefore doesn't get that stun off. The Serpent Ward's being activated on the tier 3 in mid. The Fortify is going to come out. But the Liquid Fire, together with those Serpent Wards, are pretty much going to ensure that they manage to pick up that tower. Though the rest of NIP are up, except for Ace, the Blinken, or the TPN from 33, who does still have BKB and in range, but sitting in the Macro Pyre, does manage to get locked up for a lot longer. And they are finishing him as the Shackles come out, but the Shallow Grave does manage to come out as well, as he does activate the cheese and get his health back. You should be using a Rage Buddy to deny them much of the damage, but he doesn't have it ready yet. As the Drink Hole goes out on two people, PPD as well as Sox are getting picked off again, and the pressure going to be too much from Fnatic here. Really stepping on the gas pedal as hard as they can, and really coasting for the rest of the game. A lot of careful play out, but finally Ace has returned, so they should also be able to look to make a return play onto the enemy team if they have an overstand. As Ace manages to blink in instantly and kill Jabs, the Dagon out as he activates BKB a little too late, already at half health, but the Blur manages to ensure his safety. Take out that Invis, the armor out, reduction out on a rival race. Ice 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 manages to jump in and look for Fada, who is still Invis, but Ace has been sprouted up and locked in. Unfortunately, Fnatic not able to get that quick turnaround that they were looking for. Jabs is the unfortunate casualty in that situation. The BKB being activated by Ice 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 to ensure that he escapes, and the rest of Fnatic will decide instead to take their winnings and leave. PVD really aggressively positioning in the jungle here, right as Fnatic rotate out. Really cutting it close here on the timing for when he could possibly get caught, but the man knows his stuff, so Maybe he's just memorized the movement speed of Abed right now and just calculated exactly how long it take for him to reach that bounty turn. Uh, that's a voice line. Oh God, I love this game. But yeah, what else here? We got the Lincoln's free out from Abed, who's no longer gonna get instantly hexed as soon as he comes in, and so is able to play a little more aggressively, take a little more risks. Does have that Dagon level 4. Opted for the Lincoln Sphere first instead of maxing that Dagon out. Just need a little more damage, but not too much damage. Halberd out from MP. So that's the solution. Okay, so he's got the Halberd, which supplements him with a good amount of strength and stats, as well as evasion, which complements both the Radiance build that he has and the fight that he's going to have to take against two carries. Basically, isolating them out and making sure that one of them doesn't put out as much damage as the other. Well, pretty much doesn't attack for 3 whole seconds, so it's going to be nice giving MP a little bit of an advantage, as well as another targeted spell to potentially break a Lincoln Sphere on those carries, but doesn't look like they're opting for that, instead just going for the BKB and sucking it up. The Doom is really being concentrated on the back line here, with the Fada kind of being locked out, as well as Saksa preventing him from fingering as much as he can. Satanic out from Ace, actually, using that gold to his advantage. The smoke out from Ace. The Blur manages to spot him, though, as the Infest, together with MP, is going to be able to push and kill Ace almost immediately. Ace was not ready for 3 members of Fnatic to be there, but you should have known, honestly, from the moment you started to reveal that you were there without like physically revealing that your hero was there, by clearing the wave while you were blurred and, doing that multiple times. Eventually NIP are going to somewhat wise up on that and collapse onto you and pick up that kill. So Fnatic really just grouping up now. Ace really making a critical mistake here. Shouldn't have been looking for that pick, and really instead should be looking to catch up on farm as much as he can. Really do need an MKB for that lifesteal. You're not going to hit as many attacks as anyone else is going to, but who knows? The Basher out from 33, not really looking too beneficial here, as the Serpent Wards managed to take down that bottom tier 3 tower. Looking like a wash here as Fnatic swing that 4k gold lead that NIP used to have into a 9k gold lead for themselves. Abed and Ice really taking it away with this game on their initiations here, really catching NIP by surprise, taking advantage of their power spikes with those blinks, and really putting as much pressure as they can onto NIP at the right moments. NIP were just constantly putting that pressure on, constantly pushing Fnatic further and further to try and force them to make a mistake. But Fnatic are so composed, and they've executed their whole game plan across the map so well that despite having that early game disadvantage and that net worth disadvantage, they were able to use their coordination to find the right timing for a play to swing the game in their favor, and it worked out very well. The decisiveness for Fnatic to pull the trigger is probably a very strong advantage that Fnatic have. Being able to commit to that play almost instantaneously. Just complete shift from like neutral to fifth gear. He's looking a little more careful here as, yep, he queues up that MKB. Rest of Fnatic are going to be collapsing in on that top tier 1. Pretty much the only towers left available for NIP. Really gonna need to see a good fight out here from NIP if they want to keep their dreams alive this game. Ace really being the front runner with that blur, kind of looking for anyone in the tree line, but they do have wards there, so they also spot 32 PPD on the ways. DJ almost gets immediately picked off by Soxa with the finger. The Lincoln Sphere preventing him from getting the Hex off on Abed as the Drink Coil locks down Soxa, but Soxa's already done his job. DJ's out of the fight as they trade the supports. I mean, it's about as much as you can expect from Sox right now with that flank. You can't really kill anyone else other than Jabs, who, in all honesty, is going to die as fast as DJ just did with that PA jumping on him all the time. But Fnatic have opted to split up a little more. Abed has decided to pressure that bottom tower, or that bottom lane, a lot more. Fnatic have realized that they need to put pressure on the side lanes before they can commit to the tower. They were kind of confident in their team fighting, but you're still up a good amount. But if you get caught by surprise, like you've been doing the last couple of fights, then there's still a possibility that you'll lose the fight very handedly. Puck, Abed, both Abed and DJ and Jabs are all very squishy characters and can be taken in the fight almost instantaneously. Abed picking up a decent more stats here together with that Lincoln Sphere and that Veil of Discord providing a little more health and armor. But it's still a really good chance that he's gonna get blown up immediately if he gets blinked on by Ace. Ace gets 1 or 2 lucky crits and things are looking sour for 3 of Fnatic's members. But yeah, I mean, like really, NIP need to focus on that. They really need to get that pick off and then have that advantage in numbers so that they can pressure Fnatic more. NIP even trying to put on that constant pressure, but Fnatic have handled that really well and kind of actually restabilized and prevented any further reactions. 33 looking in position onto Abed, who was blinking on that ward spot to clear out the ward. Does have a gem of true sight, so a little bit of spot out any vision that NIP have. An advantage to the team in the lead. Guardian Greaves out for Dazzle, another typical item, but the Aether Lens to get out the Glimmer Cape is going to be the more important things as his tools of escape. Though there are a lot of people gunning for you right now, Fada, so you might want to be a little careful. MKB not being bought out from Ace immediately as he does manage to save for his buyback. Looks like an Assault Curious out for MP, who will proceed to go to that Roshan pit. DJ wising up a little bit and go for that Ghost Scepter, but that's going to make you a little more successful to Soxa. It's a trade-off. The Glimmer out for Jabs is a little bit more of an intelligent decision. Well, it's a little more practical in this situation, because you'll be able to dodge out both if either have detection. And there's a higher chance that well, there's a 100% chance that Linus Finger actually, Abed jumping in, managed to get the Dagon off before he escapes the way and finishes off PPD almost immediately. BKB's being activated on multiple people, but the Doom out onto Ace. Unfortunately, that's not enough as Ice managed to get takedown almost instantaneously. Fata being pressured now, doesn't manage to get us to shallow grave. Is in a really bad position, gets picked off by the rest of Fnatic as Abed manages to pick up Ace on the back end of the Doom. Actually doesn't manage to do it before he manages to activate his Titanic, but the burst out from DJ to get with that Hex is going to secure the next 2 kills, as I believe the G call might come out from NIP. There are buybacks available on Ace and 33, but against 5 members of Fnatic, I'm not sure what you can do, especially if they come down your last lane of Rax with an Aegis on their Lifestealer carry, who really has taken past, really gone above and beyond my expectations for this game. I really thought that Fnatic were in dire straits for a while there, but as soon, like, the instant they saw that MP had his Radiance, they started a fight, As soon as they knew that MP would be able to get farm at a much faster rate and wouldn't have to waste so much time, clawing through the jungle for gold, they immediately started to fight because they knew they had the advantage there with that combo. Abed knew that he was strong, he had that Dream Coil set ready, and he knew that he was leading NIP into all those, dangerous fights where they kind of just clump in together onto one pick. It is unfortunate, but it is the way it is. I highly doubt we're going to see a comeback here from NIP, but it is possible. Have seen it before. Fnatic being, I believe, the more prominent team for comebacks, but yeah, see the buyback out from 33, put a little more pressure onto this tier 3 push, but Fnatic are not very afraid, a little wary, but MP is up there at the front, pretty much just doing what he can to secure a kill. Sox actually being glimmered up. He managed to get the Earth Spike out onto MP, but it's not really going to do anything other than delay him a little longer. The Refresher Shard being used by DJ to get that double Serpent Wards out onto the Rax, and they're going to go down regardless of what you do. So NIP have opted instead to wait for Ace to revive, who does have his Blur up and is going to try and get in, but the Macro Pyre is going to zone them off of the Rex as they are successfully claimed, and now Team Fnatic have Mega Creeps. Not looking too good for them, but I mean, Ace has Battle Fury, so he should be able to pick up a lot of waves. If Soxa picks up a Axe, he'll be able to clear a lot of waves too. PPD gonna be one of the better ones at clearing and pushing, but against Mega Creeps, a position 5 and an ADP is not the most optimal solution. Not a lot of members of NIP being suitable against these recent creep waves. Oddly enough, Fada's only kept his Necronomicon at a level 1. I'm not sure if that's what you want to do. I guess he prioritized being, having more defensive items, but the Necronomicon together with that True Sight is so valuable. It's so nice. And, considering all you're doing really in these fights is shallow graving someone and trying to save someone, and then, applying as much of the debuff as you can by spamming your spells, you're really not supposed to be in much danger, but I mean, as a result of either his positioning or his, execution in team fights, it just makes it a little harder for him. Sock's actually getting spotted out here by the enemy team. They're going to collapse on him, but does manage to blink out onto the tree line. Does manage to get Hex as they do pick up the vision on him. He's going to get picked up here, but the Shallow Grave actually out. The instant kill out onto Jabs, who does manage to buy back the Doom out, however, onto Ace, but he does have his BKB up, so he won't be able to take any additional magic damage from the Doom or the Puck. MP trying to put his best damage into Ace, but the Shallow Grave does actually come out before in time. Gonna be
It's odd timing. The Doom unfortunately ends around the same time as Shallow Grave. 33 gets picked up as well, as PPD is probably going to get picked up here as well. A little bit unfortunate. Soxa gonna die here again, or Soxa gonna die here. Wasn't able to escape successfully, but the buyback out from Ace, and Soxa isn't gonna really do much here. You do have Mega Creeps collapsing in onto the base, and it's gonna be a little bit of a sad time for an IP. Overall, it was a very exciting game. I mean, it was very back and forth. NIP obviously had to lead. Oh, Doom out onto Ace, but it's going to be relatively simple. Fnatic going to get picked up for MP here. The burst out onto DJ kills him instantly, but he buys back, so there's not much else to do. A lot of Boots of Troubles being bought out by Fnatic because they know the game is over. And that's probably the best choice for the most mobility. The GG is out. Game is over here for NIP, unfortunately, as Fnatic take the game 1. A very interesting way to to end things out with about a 25k gold lead. 25 to 31k. I think it was 31k, but to recap, it was a little unfortunate what happened there for NIP, but uh, they did adopt different strategies. NIP kind of stepping on the gas pedal a little early with their early aggression picks. The draft really kind of both teams kind of followed on the same path for their draft, and then really just took off after the third or fourth pick. So you get the initial pick out. I believe we'll take a look at what the picks were. But yeah, I mean, getting the Nature's Prophet early, as well the PA early, declares your safe lane. So you know something. Fnatic have to know something going on with that off lane, and like they saw the aggressive Ursa pick out together with the aggressive Dazzle pick in the mid lane, demonstrated that they were going to put a lot more pressure onto Fnatic, and Fnatic were, they obviously did take a couple hits here and there, losing heroes, making mistakes, but they were also very attentive, very committed to looking for opportunities to turn things around, and also really working their hardest to maintain their the net worth gap and make sure that it doesn't blow out of proportion like it did at around 30 minutes. But yeah, a very interesting game though. I very much like how fast um, Abed and Ice 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 pulled the trigger out on those fights. Like instantly. Instantly that fight's starting to start, and that's that was a huge difference between Fnatic and NIP. NIP really kind of just setting up for those plays, pushing in. Didn't really have that blink on Ursa, so they don't have that engage. Soxa would eventually flank along with PPD in many cases, but not super successful, especially if the rest of Team Fnatic are there to follow up or to follow or counter that aggression. Um, yeah, I mean, with the comp, I like the comps for both teams. Fnatic played better to their win condition. They played a lot more. They paid a lot more attention to MP and devoted their time to making sure that MP still got his radiance and items at a reasonable time. Great job on him buying that armlet, by the way. It was a lot more of what he needed than the Midas. Basically, making him a lot more of a tank earlier on in those fights, if it had to come to it. Basically, just ensuring he survived earlier on, since NIP and specifically Ace were a good amount of gold ahead of him. But yeah, I don't want to drag this overview out too long. It was a great game. Appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll see as good of a performance this game or next game as we saw this game. But my name is Gross. This has been your weekly, daily, occasional, seasonal casting of Dota 2 Pro League. And I appreciate you guys' time. Let me know in the comments below if you have any suggestions for me. If you want to let me know anything, spread some love, feel free to like the video and subscribe. Appreciate any support you guys have, and I'll see you around next time. Peace.